Welcome to the Chason Laing Podcast. Interesting topics, even more interesting people. I'm your host, Chason Laing. Before we get started, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and click that little notification bell to get access to our shows as soon as they drop. Also, if you'd leave a comment and a 5-star review, that would help us out tremendously and it would make you a super awesome human. So let's get started. Yes, our special guest today is my buddy, fantastic actor, and personal trainer and friend, Kris Clinton.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Man. I'm really looking forward to this one because we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about.
As always.
As always, yes. And I'm going to remember to do this. There you are. So
okay.
I didn't hit that button early enough. So again, I'm going to talk real quick. I just felt like it would be fun to reminisce a little bit about how we met.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, definitely.
So I was having auditions for Breakers.
Yes.
And I needed the role of Mills taken care of. And so I don't remember exactly how I got in original touch with you, but then you came in to audition.
I'll fill in that blank. I'll fill that in. I was actually on the WinStar commercial with Amanda. And Amanda, who plays Harper Ross, is now she and I were on set together, and we didn't even really talk. She was just really sweet, really kind, just very professional. And so for my name to have come up to you was a surprise to me, because I'm like, wow, we didn't even really speak to each other, but she thought of me, and out of it came this awesome friendship.
Oh, that's really funny because with Amanda, so she signed on to play that role early, and I had to convince her at the time that I was like, because we don't want to get into it. Right. The first 3 episodes we filmed, and then she had a very minor role in that, but then her role expanded a lot in the last part of the show. Okay. And so we got to kind of talk to her, but then when I was trying to cast season 2, like it quadrupled the size of the cast after episode 3. And so I was looking for these people. I reached out to her asking for people if anybody knew anybody that fit these roles, because I like working with actors that come with endorsements.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
It's like, because there's so many actors, sometimes you end up with somebody like, you're like, okay, yeah.
Right.
We're never doing this again.
Right.
And you shake hands like, you did great, man. And they leave and you're like, we will never work with that guy again. So endorsements go a long way. But you came in, you auditioned.
Yes.
And then what's really funny is that you did really good, but
I could not tell.
Yeah, no, you did great. I mean, like, you literally landed it. You were perfect. And again, my audition technique is very simple.
It's very simple.
It's very simple. Well, no, because like if you perform and you do good right off the bat, then I'm like, okay, I can see it. You fit the part, you fit the role, you fit all the things.
Yes.
So that's great, and you acted good just now.
Okay.
There's only one other thing left that's really important to me, and that's the second. So I'm going to make you do it again.
Oh gosh.
And if you recall, I made you do it again. Yes. But I gave you, I don't know what because I changed it every time. I will purposely give you a direction that might not even be in the show at all or in the script. Okay. I will purposely make it different.
Yes. Okay.
To see if on that moment, if I give you something, can you do different?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And that's probably why you thought, oh, I sucked.
Well, so first off, I didn't audition for Mills. I auditioned with Chubbs.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even know there was a good guy. So you had all this intel that I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I got literally nothing because I don't remember where I auditioned, but
it was in the office,
and it felt very close.
It was, yeah, you were right there.
And then I think there were 2 other people in there. So here it is, and I already don't like to audition. It's just one of the hardest things ever for me. I've gotten better now that you've helped me out with kind of knowing what to do and knowing what to look for, and again, I've gotten better, but it's very challenging. But you just sit there. Okay, great, man. All right, let's try this again.
Well, so I'll be honest. Like when I first auditioned people, I did it and I wasn't as good or professional, and it's because I understand the predicament of the actor coming in having to do whatever they're trying to do, and it's a sucky place to be because it's just intimidating.
Very.
And there's just you feel a lot of pressure.
Yes.
And so I used to try to ease people up and give them a lot of feedback. But then if they didn't get the part, I would feel really bad.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so then I started taking some tips from real casting agents and stuff. And you just have to be really professional. It's like, you come in the room and it's just like you go.
Yes.
You do it. And while it sounds extremely cold, it sounds awful. At the same time, there's a beauty to it because it's like if you don't feed them anything, if you don't give them anything, if they don't get the part, then it's like they got the same thing as if they did get the part.
Got you.
And then you can just say, okay, they did good. It's professional. Thank you for coming in. You always thank them for coming in because somebody's, they're giving you their time.
Correct.
And so I always thank them for coming in. I don't, good or bad.
Yeah.
And then you send them on your way, and then you immediately connect with them afterward. And that's kind of what I did. So the truth is, you had the role basically. I thought you had it from your first take. The second take is just to make sure I can get you to change. Yeah. And as long as you can change, then that's great because that means on the spot, the director has the ability to say, I'm not feeling this. I need more. I need less. I need something.
Yeah.
And that way I know I can get it out of you. Some people come in and they're like, it's like, give me something. You're like, all right, the spaghetti is bad.
And they memorize it.
Yes.
A certain
and you're like,
way.
all right, I want you to do it more comedic. And they're like, all right, the spaghetti is bad.
Right.
And you're like, this person is going to do that every single time. I can't do anything with this person. And it doesn't matter. So once they get it in their head and they're locked in, and
it makes sense. I just don't know that there is a 101 manual out there for the actors to know.
Yeah.
But no, it's very helpful. And while we were on set, you even explained to me, and I took that into several other auditions later and actually landed it just because I knew now, okay, it's not that I'm doing something wrong. They want to know. Yeah. And that helped me out. Yeah, a lot.
Well, I think because it's a hard place for the actor to be in.
Yes.
But then also, the people who are doing the casting, they have a goal.
Correct.
It's like, and their job is to usually make the director, or the director might be there, their life easier and to give them as many possibilities as they can.
Understood.
Like that's it. And so once you kind of get it's all a game in the end, and it's an impossible game because at the end the director might have this idea of what he wants. And I had people come in who tried out for Mills.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you weren't the only one.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of people that came in.
Makes me feel even better.
I had a very specific I wanted some physical presence. I wanted somebody big and bad, which you were that.
Okay.
Somebody who could act, and somebody who just looked what's the word, like loyal, like you looked like the good guy. So I needed to be able to see your face and in 5 seconds know I can root for this guy.
Oh, nice.
It's really important for that show because not spoilers, but when the character experiences drama, I need you to feel.
Yes.
And you're not going to feel if you don't like the character.
Exactly.
And so when you came in, your face was like this. Okay.
Oh, cool.
5 seconds, I could like it. All right, good. And then I need to lead you on that road to making you feel.
That's awesome, man.
So there's a lot of things happening that are not just that. So it was a fun way to meet, and then after that, we've been friends ever since. It's all
real friends.
Real friends, yeah. We hang out all the time. We do this. I call you up and say, "Let's do a podcast." You're like, "Yes, let's do that."
I go to soccer games and stuff.
Yes, you're now a staple of the Laing family. So let's get in. I've got some great questions for you today. Some are related. Some are related to what we do for livings and so on, and some of them have nothing to do with it.
Oh, fun!
So this should be fun. But let's stick with the acting since we started here.
Okay.
What is the hardest things about #actor life? What for you? What's the stuff that's just the most annoying
for me personally? I want to say knowing where I fit. I don't necessarily know that I look dad. I think there's a wide range for me. I don't know that there are too many 6'5", 260-pound actors out there as well too. So I getting some roles that don't necessarily, I'm like, I don't know that I fit that. And I think that's one of the biggest issues for me is just kind of literally finding out where I fit.
Yeah.
It's cool to fit in as the good guy. But I think everybody wants to be the good guy, And so I'd probably, and I don't know how many people read for Mills, but I can imagine how many other people are trying to be the good guy. But then, I don't necessarily know that I just kind of come across as the bad guy. But again, it's literally just kind of finding that area of where I fit.
Yeah.
So
and I would be a big proponent of saying it's not great to just even fit in a particular thing either, because you naturally you played Mills and I cast you against Ray, who played the bad guy,
right?
And Ray has played other bad guys for me as well.
And how tall is Ray? Let's give him. Is
he 6'10"?
Ray is 6'10".
6'10".
Ray is huge.
He is a huge guy,
yes.
And I'm like the creamy filling of that Oreo. Like when I stand between you guys, I feel like what's his name, Frodo. You know, it's like y'all make me feel small.
Well, I think we took a lot of pictures on set with just people wanting to stand in between us. But even I felt small against Ray. But Ray Ray has tons of talent, and I think that dynamic, like I think you crushed it with that. Yeah. But there aren't a lot of times where I'm on set where I'm going against another 6'10".
Well,
guy.
for me, the whole strategy, and we're talking about Ray Hurd, by the way. If you don't know Ray Hurd, you should look up Ray Hurd. I'll definitely have him on the podcast. Actually, truth be known, he came over to record this podcast, but we got so busy talking, we never got to recording anything. So that's not unusual either.
Right.
But yeah, and that was an intentional thing because I had a guy like you, like here's a hero character, but the hero can never be as big as the bad guy,
right?
You know, and so Ray Hurd steps in, and it's like, geez, okay,
right.
Wow. You know, when you're looking small, you're like,
oh yes,
like that's ridiculous,
exactly.
So, but that was good. So, let's get into just a little bit about your social media. For a second. Okay. This is not super business, but I like your Instagram account.
Well, thank you.
You know, I follow it, and I'm one of those few people that you know gets on Instagram. I'm sure that there's more.
Okay.
But I noticed, like, I followed a lot of, originally when I did Instagram, I followed a lot of actor accounts.
Okay.
And then over time, I started weeding them out because, like, actor accounts, let's face it, like, some of them are obnoxious as heck.
Yes, very much so.
I don't need to see your daily life.
Agreed.
I don't want to see you eating donuts.
Yes.
I don't want to see your walking. I don't want to
audition.
It's like, oh my gosh, I understand that you're doing stuff, but I don't want to see all this stuff.
Right.
You know, and when you're following, just imagine like that times 50. Your Instagram, like that's everything that you see, and it's just like, okay, my life is not the most dramatic, awesome thing you've ever seen.
Okay,
but I'm not posting it either.
Right,
like you don't care what I eat for breakfast. You know,
right.
So I feel like but for you, your Instagram account is not a typical actor account.
Okay,
it's not.
I'll take that as a compliment.
You have a lot of just. It's a nice. I don't even know what to call it. It's just It's simple. It's refreshing. When I see something, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I move on. But you have a nice account. So, like, what's the strategy? Like, why is your account not like most actor accounts?
I guess I don't want acting to define who I am. I want acting to be something I do.
Yeah.
And so the type of person that I am, I don't know who comes across my page. I want it to be something positive. I want it to be an example of who I am. So it's not just about posting actor stuff or, you know, and again, I never know what somebody's going through. I never know who gets on there. And, you know, if you're a director and you're going to hire me, you're going to be on set with me for 13, 14, 15 hours and go, oh man, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want that to be what you see first rather than, oh, he's an actor.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my first objective is just to be a great person. So,
well, I think you're pulling it off.
Well, thank
you. A great person.
Well, thank you.
And for the people wondering what that loud banging is, we're not in a construction zone. That is my children upstairs. I've told them, please don't make any noise. And they took that to mean like, let's jump off the bed and land on the ceiling.
Especially when daddy's recording.
Especially when we're recording. We're just going to go with it though. It's just like, that's my life. So we're just going to go with it. What do you think makes a good Instagram feed? You follow people too. What do you think is what makes people stand out to make them worth following?
Something authentic.
What does that mean? That's a trendy word that's being used.
Is it?
Authenticity. Okay. And I'm always like, that means people post things that are absolutely not authentic at all.
Right. I guess it's just like for me, I'm real. So I've actually met people on set who follow me and what they see on my page matches up with who I am as a person. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to perpetrate anything that I'm not. And I guess for each individual, that'll be different. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how to really define authentic for every single person. But I think each person, it's different, though. I mean, I guess you can kind of tell. And like you said, when you're on a page, what why are you on there, and does it keep your interest?
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody gets on my page and oh man, okay, that's cool, I want to see more.
Yeah.
Right. Or if somebody gets on there and is like, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Well, I think the people that actually get on my page are the ones who really truly define what authentic is. Yeah. I don't necessarily do. And I guess, when you're authentic, you're different. You're not categorized into this group of, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah. When I go so far as to also say, like, you don't overwhelm me either.
Right.
I know there's a big trend to say you got to be consistent. And on the one hand, like on some things it's true. Like you need to be consistent.
Right.
But that doesn't mean every 15 minutes.
Correct.
When you post, please post something that's like, I can be like, oh, that's cool, and then move on.
Right.
And I can see that little snapshot of your day or what you're working on.
Right.
And be like, that's cool. But if you're posting, 3-4 times a day,
oh my God,
you're quickly going to get out of my feed because I'm like, my gosh, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. That I do think authenticity is important.
Very much so.
And I think it's because I want to follow this person because I want to see what they're actually working on in their life.
Right.
But once it passes over where you're like, hi, welcome to the Kardashian channel, I'm like, check it out. I'm out of here.
Right.
Like,
and maybe even just enough to kind of bring you back. I don't post every day, and maybe when you do see kind of Kris Clinton is posting something, okay, what is it now?
Yeah.
Because I don't post every day, but I think there's a nice little balance of kind of hitting and then kind of disappearing for a while and then right back at it and then kind of coming back. So I think that's, it's not a trick. It's just what I do. I don't do it on purpose.
So it's consistent, but it's not like annoying you. It's like when you see, like, oh, he posted something.
Right,
and,
right.
And that makes a difference.
Yes.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can I change gear a little bit?
Of course you can.
All right. So we've had many talks in the past because you are a physically fit person. You do spend plenty of time in the gym.
I do.
You do sometimes cook food at my house, and I'll see you're use my microwave.
Yes.
You got your little meals. I just want to talk about diet. I know a lot of people talk about diets. Actors talk about diets all the time.
Okay.
And I've been on a much better diet over the last year and a half.
Nice.
But I'm just curious on when it comes to your diet for you.
Okay.
What is important, like the most important thing, and why?
Simplicity. Like keeping things simple and convenient, because my morning starts off at 4, like literally 4 in the morning. So doing something that I can sustain helps easily for me, and doing things that are convenient. So because if I'll, drive out here, which is, about an hour away, just be able to pop something in the microwave and, oh man, I'm hungry. Yeah. But being able to pop something in the microwave, because it's so easy to stop by that nice little Brahms that you have right around the corner. And, but just doing things that are convenient and simple. And that works for me. And I also give myself a cheap meal on the weekend, so I look forward to that. Mm-hmm. So as long as I don't, I kind of reward myself. So I've gotten a nice little balance of okay, like, hey, I have to earn that cheap meal, not the cheat day, but the cheap meal. I have to earn that. So that helps me out as well too.
That's cool. Yeah, I think it's really important to to pay attention to the diet. And I follow like Dwayne Johnson. He posts his cheat meal every so often, and it's like 6,500 calories, and
that's
Like,
amazing.
that dude's ridiculous. Like, just that's your cheat meal.
Right.
Like, I can't even eat a quarter of that if I wanted to.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm putting it down, and then he's gonna drink his tequila. Anyway,
right.
But that's all good. When it comes to diet, why do you think so many people? Well, because also you've done physical training and you work with some pretty high, awesome clients.
Yes.
I'm curious, where do you think it's easy to fail when it comes to exercise and diet? It's easy to start and then fail. What do you think is happening? Why is that happening? Why is it so easy?
I'd start off with a more broader picture of fitness. Like when you become a lawyer, it's easy. Like if you're a lawyer and I'm like, hey, I've gotten in some trouble, what should I do? There's one thing that you tell me to do,
right?
And I can easily go do that. If you're a doctor and I come to you and I say, hey, I'm feeling this way, there's one thing that you tell me. But I think with fitness, there's a myth.
Yeah.
Of so many different things of what to do. Well, hey, I've heard this, and my friend, she lost weight this way. And I think there's no really truly defined way of kind of narrowing down. So I think people have this idea that a meal plan or what have you is difficult. It's not fun. I can't do these things. I can't eat this certain way, and I have to struggle. I have to starve, but I want this. So I think that's one of the mishaps about when it comes to fitness. It's just you can have a little bit of everything just in moderation.
Yeah, and
that's one. I think too that the physical part is easy, right? Going to the gym or doing something physically active, rollerblading, that's fun.
Yeah.
The food part is the mental part because it's such a social event. So now you're telling yourself, oh, I can't do that today.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody can do that, and that's where most people find that struggle.
Yeah, I feel like because we've had that before where you've told me some things to do, and I would do them, but I wouldn't do them. I'd do them maybe 90%.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna argue, but like it came to a point, and it's almost back to there now. Now that the holidays are open, it's basically almost back to that again, where it's like, all right, you've got this set thing. This is just what you eat. It has to become like almost a habit.
Right.
And it took a while to just finally get into a groove of this is all you. And it really came down to like, you have to be careful on your shopping.
Correct.
Not to buy anything like that. So like, my kids were super annoyed with me.
Right.
They were eating healthy. If it's in the house, then you want to eat it. And
correct.
So I'm like,
true.
They're like, Dad, can we have this thing? I'm like,
yeah,
I don't have this thing. It's gone. But you really have to, for me anyway, it's like you really have to get into a very consistent rhythm where I eat. Like for me, I eat the same things every single day.
Yeah.
And
does that bore you though?
Well, so at first it was really annoying.
Okay.
It was really annoying.
Okay.
Because I'm like, this is the same thing every day.
Okay.
And I want to eat more stuff, but this is the same thing.
Okay.
And then, but the truth is, over time, you get, I don't know, it's like you stop thinking about it.
Right.
And then it actually starts to kick in and work.
Correct.
Because you're not thinking about it. Like, this is just what you do.
Right.
It's like a machine. You're
yes.
Just, and you don't think about it anymore. And so for me, anyway, it's like over the last year, I've had a lot of really, really great results.
Right.
And so going in now that the holidays are over and now that COVID is over, I had COVID in like 3 weeks. It just took me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that all that's over and stuff like that, it's like, all right, we get back into it. I told my kids, I was like, I got them. Nani Papa were here for the baby and everything.
Right.
Here, so I had some special food, and then it ran out, and they're like, all right, and I'm like, it's gone. It's gone.
Right.
I hope y'all enjoyed it because it ain't coming back. No more goodness in this house.
That's hilarious.
Let's talk real quick. So I started doing this Ryan Humiston. I like him. He's on YouTube. He puts out courses.
Okay.
He does physical fitness. The thing I like about him is that it's the closest thing I have to having a personal trainer at the gym with me without actually having a personal trainer.
Right.
And I go to the YMCA. So let's face it, their personal trainers are not exactly like you.
Yeah,
and the only reason I don't come to you, I don't have hurt feelings because
at all.
Because you're just a little far away.
It is.
You're 45, 47 minutes away. It's a little
tolls.
far. Otherwise, I would totally be there. Like if I was 10 minutes away, like you'd be seeing my face every day.
Right.
But as it is, so I go to the Y. And I like it. Mm-hmm. He does different workouts. One of the ones he just introduced is the PPL workout. Are you familiar with that? Push pull legs. It's basically 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off.
Okay.
And you do push 1 day, pull 1 day, legs 1 day.
Okay.
And it is kicking my behind currently. Yesterday was legs, and there's parts of my behind that are sore that I did not know could be sore.
Right.
And it is what it is. It just made me curious though, because he's done different things. Do you have a particular workout that you like the most? Do you like, what's your favorite routines?
For me personally?
Not in details. I don't need to know like I do this many reps, but just like what's your favorite flow? What's your favorite thing to do?
I'll be honest, legs are my favorite. Like legs are my favorite probably because I'm 6'5" and I'm more torso than I am legs. So I like to train legs a little bit. I played basketball my whole life, and I didn't train legs just because I had this thing where I said those were my money makers. So I never had knee problems or anything like that. So now that I've kind of gotten more into the fitness, I like training legs. Legs are fun. Nobody else wants to do them.
I feel like you're not doing my same leg routines. The leg routine I just did, there was some times where sometimes I wonder if I cursed out loud because I got headphones on.
You probably did.
My gosh. I'm so broken today. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I think it's not even about the body part. It's about the fact that most men don't want to do them, right?
That makes sense.
Right. So I'm always that person that likes to do the things that most people don't like to do, because it's the hardest.
Yeah.
And so that's where it comes from.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed for me, I'm trying to get my squat. I always thought I had pretty strong legs.
Okay.
Then I started working them out and I realized, no, you suck.
But you're supposed to feel like that after your workout. So it's not even, you're not supposed to get to a place of finishing. It's always, you're striving for that.
Yeah.
That way it brings you back for another round.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Well, I'm definitely trying to get there now. I've got some other buddies that are working out, and they're bodybuilders, so they're getting up there on their I don't know, the reps and their weights and so on. But the legs thing, I always thought my legs were pretty strong.
Right.
And the rest of me was weak. Now I'm like, no, the whole you is weak.
Come on, man. You're doing great.
Oh, man. No, there's some times where I'm like, hey, I'm trying to develop these legs, and I'm like, why are my legs just like it? It's like I feel like they've never been used before. What's going on? So we're doing our best.
Right. That's all that you can do. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking on things that are just completely epic failures.
Okay.
What happened to the Matrix movie?
Man.
What went wrong? They had all this time. First of all, it was a movie that we didn't need. It had already ended. But they're like, hey, it's a sequel. Let's bring this thing back. They bring back this movie. I get excited. I'm like, oh, cool. I have nostalgia. Like, oh, yeah. Remember that time when you were not married and you wouldn't go to see these manly gun shooting movies?
Right.
And then I go and I see it. And the movie ended. And I was sitting there thinking, like, wait, no, this movie still has like 40 minutes, like to explain all this crap that I just watched.
Okay.
And I didn't know. That movie, I got up and I was like, okay. What happened? What do you think happened? I have my own theories, but what do you think happened to that movie?
Well, let's go back and forth because you'll have to reel me back in because I'm
not very defensive of this movie. Like
I feel
like they stopped trying.
I think when time gets away from you, like it's really truly hard. I mean, how long had it been since the third one?
Oh man, I don't know, but it's early 2000s,
right?
The first, didn't the Matrix come out like 1998 or something
like that? And I think the first Matrix was more about just the cinematography. Like it wasn't even about the movie itself. People were just like, "Oh my god, look at this thing!" And most people didn't know what it was.
Well, it was groundbreaking. They did some cool things that had not been done before.
Exactly. So it kind of became this thing. I think it's not until the second one that you start to go, oh, okay, I'm starting to understand the story.
Yeah. Well, in the second one, again, it had some groundbreaking things.
Right.
And I really felt like the failures of the second movie didn't really get noticed until the third movie came out because nobody knew where it was going. The third movie came out and it wasn't the best.
Right.
But it was still, it was an okay series.
Correct.
It can't top the first one. It is what it is.
Correct.
But then they came out with this one and it was like, what the?
Yeah. Just what I'm thinking is not so PC, but I'm gonna go out there and say it.
I'll edit it out if you do horribly wrong.
Okay, thank you so much.
By the culture.
Thank you so much. But you do know that they became females.
Did they both, or was just one?
I thought it was both.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was just one or both. Well, originally they were the Wachowski bros,
right?
Which that sounds awesome.
I think both of them did.
And then now they're like the Wachowski siblings, and that's not nearly as cool.
Like, and I think it followed with the writing. I mean, because the fourth one was just kind of more of a love story. Now, it had some positives. Like I love the way Trinity became powerful and not just so weak and helpful. But I mean, you know me, I'm glass half full.
Well, see, I disagree with you completely. I felt like, here's the deal. I never thought Trinity was weak.
Correct.
I felt like this movie came out and they were like, all right, let's flip the tables. We'll make Trinity the powerful one and Neo the impotent man that he should be.
But pause right there.
Okay.
And then what did the directors just become?
Well, should that influence the movie that much? They had a story.
Should it, or did it?
It definitely did.
There you go.
Yeah, it definitely changed the
nature.
Back
out.
And I was like, this is the fastest way to kill a series I've ever seen. And they set it up for to do more. And I'm like, I'm not coming back for more.
I don't think anybody is.
No.
So it was unfortunate, because that was the only movie that I had in the household that I wanted to see, and that was the last one, and it was a fail.
Yeah, the movie it could have been cool.
Agreed.
It could have been a lot of really great things, and then I felt like they completely lost the handle on the entire movie. There were so many times I was sitting, and you keep waiting as an audience member to be like, okay, they're gonna tie this together. They're gonna make this sense. And they're like, nope, they're just not. They're gonna just throw it all out there and then make it as confusing as heck and make me hate this series.
Yeah,
and that's what they did.
They that's exactly what they did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And those are the movies that get funding.
Don't even get me started. It's too close to home.
I was trying to get you started.
Well, and again, they did come up. They have had some good moments. I think they never really got better than The Matrix. The Matrix was good, and then they did Speed Racer and some other things. But that one was just, they could have done great with that movie. They had a great cast.
Agreed.
And I followed them through the weird Morpheus digital thing. I was like, this is a little weird, but okay, we can go for it. But they really dropped the ball. And I feel like that's a dangerous thing that can happen.
Yes.
Is if you decide to start getting preaching your worldview too hard, and where your worldview becomes more important than the story, it's going to go bad every time. It's what happens with the Christian films, and it's definitely what happened with that film. There were many times in that film I'm like, you're just killing me here.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to root for you, and you're killing me.
Yeah. Yeah. And slowly.
Slowly. And again, it's for a movie that's so long, I kept thinking this movie, it needed another 40 minutes just to explain what the heck you just did.
Exactly.
What did you, the ending of that movie, it just suddenly ends, and I'm like, I hate all of you now.
You just messed up the first three.
You made Neo impotent. You made Trinity unlikable.
Right.
The only person I care about is the bad guy that you're beating, and now you're a bully.
Right.
It was embarrassing, dude.
Yes. Yeah. It was really bad.
So as much as I can, people can 1-star my shows. That one gets 1 star for me.
Seriously, right?
It's bad. I'm not a fan. And they had money to work with, which I never have. But they had money, and they just dropped the ball. Not yet. Yeah,
not yet. We're going to put that out there.
Yeah, let's switch it up some more. Let's do just a 30-second take.
Okay.
Sound good? 30 seconds on this.
Okay.
Israel just announced today that 4 COVID shots are not going to be enough. Your 30-second take on where it's
going. Where is it going?
Yes.
Sheer Pandemic 2. Hey, I don't want anyone to die.
There's eventually going to be somebody in your bedroom when you wake up in the morning like, we're ready with your COVID shot.
I don't want anyone to die, so I do need that. I'm not making fun of anyone that's passed away or that's lost their life. That part is not funny. But if you haven't seen Sheer Pandemic 1, please go ahead and support that, because Sheer Pandemic 2 will be coming out. And if at the rate that we're going, Sheer Pandemic 3 and 4. So anyway.
Well, and I feel like, I feel like this year is the year where everybody's kind of reaching the point. My feel is, and again, I'm in Texas, so we're still sort of above the California grade of people. Of culture. I don't know what the word that I need to use is, but I just feel like everybody's getting to the point where the exhaustion is set in. It's like, okay, I have people that have had the vaccines and they've gotten COVID. People who haven't had the vaccines and they've gotten COVID. And it's just running and at some point people are just like, screw it. You know, and I feel like there's a lot of that mentality right now.
I think a lot of those people were there before the vaccine. I think a lot of those people were there before the vaccine, and I think, you know, and again, you know me, I'm Mr. Glass Half Full. I think a lot of these people just have to figure things out as they go. This is not something that is normal. You know, this is not something that is black and white and is, oh, this is what you do and this will fix it. You know, you've gotten a lot of sources out there. I won't even say information. You just got a lot of sources out there, and everyone, if you're plugged into 12 different, you know, outlets and they're telling you 12 different things, and then on top of those 12 people, then they're going to go spread their, and it just happens, you know. So, you know, hopefully we can get a grasp on this and we can find some kind of, you know, normal, back to regular, whatever that is. Yeah. But, you know, it's unfortunate. So,
Well, nice job. Great 30-second take. I like it. 30? It was encouraging.
That's awesome.
I'll take it. I don't know how many seconds.
That's exactly what my Instagram is like.
Yes, exactly. It works. So speaking of things that are just complete failures.
Okay. Oh my.
What happened to Dallas Cowboys? What is their problem?
Well, hold on a second, because first off, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
But you're here, you're local, so therefore you can have you can have an unbiased opinion on the Cowboys. Even if you're local, you're here, you're surrounded by Cowboy culture.
Correct. I just wanted to put that out there first off. But I am a sports fan, and I can just tell you this: until Jerry Jones gets out of his own way, you'll continue to see the same old things. Yeah. You know, I think Dak Prescott is a Ferrari. I think they drive him like
a Toyota,
a Corvette. Like
Corvette. Okay. I was thinking going to give him that.
I think he's got so much potential, but I think they hold him back.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think if you look at some of these other quarterbacks in the leagues and what they allow those guys to do as far as playmaking, as far as schemes, I think they hold them back.
Yeah.
So,
well, my two takes on the whole thing is, one, I feel like you're playing professional ball.
Okay.
You're making a lot of money. That
I don't like that. I don't like that.
But they're making a lot of money.
Okay, but that's
not.
Go
ahead. If you bring me to a film set. Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm ready to film the next commercial starring Kris Clinton. And you're like, all right, let's go. And then I pull out an iPhone from 2008, and I'm like, I got it. I'm ready to film. You're gonna have that response. So at the same token, if you're a Dallas Cowboys player and you cannot stop making penalties, at some point I'm like, this is your one job. Like, figure out what you need to stop doing.
But
stop doing that.
Again, I agree with you. I just don't think that has anything to do with money.
The only reason I bring money into it is that
you expect more.
I expect more of you.
I get you.
Yeah, and so I expect, like, here's the deal. Like, you know, my kids play soccer. Okay. I don't expect them to play perfect games. They're still learning. They got a lot to do. But you guys on the Cowboys are supposed to be the most elite of elite. Like, you're playing professional ball for a notoriously nationally and internationally known team.
True.
And you have the most penalties of any team. The penalties are killing you.
This is true.
And I just feel like at some point you got to say, guys, like, seriously, you have one job to do. Please do your job.
Okay, but let me ask you this, back to the soccer. If your kids weren't prepared, who would you hold responsible for that?
Oh, well, see, but that takes me to the second thing, because I said it was twofold. So on the one hand, I think you can't be making those mistakes. Like, y'all need to stop making the mistakes.
Okay.
But two, I feel like they treat the Cowboys like the Cowboys in their fourth quarter are their best selves.
Okay.
And yet they're always behind by then.
Okay.
Why don't you try to play them like that in quarter one? And from there on out, like, play them strong from the beginning and stop waiting until you're so far behind that now we're waiting for the referee to come in and, like, do a behind check on you and knock your. I'm like, where did that dude come from?
But my only issue is, and again, I'm pro athlete just because I used to be.
Sure.
So that's where this conversation will be so awesome. But we're still coached.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Okay.
There's a huge coaching failure here.
We're going out there and we're only executing the plays that have been told for us to run.
Yes.
Again.
Like the coach that said, guys, I got an idea. Dak, I want you to run the ball right now. The guy that said that, coaching failure.
Correct.
Completely.
Correct.
Yes. It's like I remember he took off and I was like, what are you doing?
Right.
Throw the ball.
Right.
It was crazy.
Or run towards the sideline. But anyway.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, that's good. Good 30 seconds on the Cowboys. Okay. You know, I definitely don't want to rip on them too much, but it's kind of old when you're memed. You know, the Cowboys and the fans are now memed.
Yeah.
And my wife is, you know, she's not a Cowboys fan, so she memes me.
That's why she and I are so good friends.
She's like, it's another year.
Another year.
They got you believing in them.
Again.
And then they immediately let you down.
The most abusive relationship I've ever seen in this state.
Oh, my gosh. No, it is ridiculous.
Yes.
But. Okay, cool. All right, so let's switch gear again.
Okay.
We got to get off them. This is not a Cowboys podcast.
No.
Even though it could be. What are the top questions that you get regularly as a professional actor who's constantly doing acting and auditioning? What are the questions that you get the most asked of you? From anybody.
How do I get started? My baby's cute. I think they should be a model. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Really?
Yeah, they think there's this assumption that things are very easy and simple when it comes to this business, and
that's just BS.
And I try to tell people, like I really do, and not to get off subject, but even when I'm on set and I've worked with kids because I'm kind of the dad or what have you, I've talked to the parents that actually bring them to and from set, because those guys are the troopers. To sit on set 13 hours, 15 hours, and they're never on camera. I'm like, man, congratulations. How do you do it? So, but I do think there is just a misperception on the business itself of, I just show up, we act, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what it is.
Well, this brings me to a great kind of segue just a little bit, because I think, as an actor, you have to audition all the time.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And I think from watching you and helping you with audition, well, some auditions, you audition with a ton of stuff that I don't help you with.
Yeah.
But you audition all the time. You have a fantastic attitude.
Well, thank you.
For auditioning.
Thank you.
And I'm curious, how do you stay in that mental state of just being positive? You audition and you move on to the next one. How do you do that?
I actually watch and help me out with his name, James Lipton.
I don't know.
Okay, there's a school that I think he has of actors, and he invites a lot of his students or professional actors back. And George Clooney once said, someone asked him a question about, does he get nervous auditioning, or how do you not get nervous, or what he goes, in his answer was so simple. It was, why get nervous about something that you don't have? The worst thing that can happen is you walk away with something you never had.
Right.
And that changed my perspective, because I went into this every audition as an athlete. I got to win. Mm-hmm. I got to win. Like, this is my opportunity. I have to win. And so I went into that with his advice as far as going into a situation, just doing the best that I can. And the worst that can happen is I'm going to walk away with the same thing that I already have, is not the job. And so that helps me out a lot. That doesn't say that, I still don't get frustrated.
Right.
But it does help me out a lot. I do feel that every opportunity sometimes is just a seed, right? So maybe the casting director will see me and she'll go, oh, okay, this audition, but maybe she sees something else. And she goes, oh my God, I know who's perfect for this part. So I always feel like everything it is that I'm doing is for a purpose. It may not be for that purpose alone, for that job, but it could be for something else.
Yeah.
So I never know who sees me, what maybe they see me for something else. And that's actually happened to me before. For the first time I got into the business, I went out for kind of this Resist-A-Ball Walmart brand ball and for exercise or what have you. And I didn't get that job, but not even auditioning for the next job, the casting director goes, "Oh, I know who would be great for this." And she called me and she was like, "Hey, are you available for this?" I was just like, "Yeah, I'm available." And that's how I got the next job, just because of something that she remembered my previous audition from.
Yeah.
So I try to hold on to that.
Well, I think that's great. Well, I think that's a great mentality to have. That's why I asked you about it.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing. I think it's the hardest thing for actors in general, but I know a lot of actors get really defeated.
Oh, big time.
Because it's like job interviews.
Yes.
It's like getting rejected again and again and again. And that can be really hard.
Correct.
Until you get one that's good. And then you're right back again as soon as it's over.
Yes. Yeah. And I've even found myself kind of, I went into the business thinking, oh, this is what I would like to do. And then it goes, okay, after a couple of years, it's like, if I could just get, or maybe even just this over here. So you do crave for a little stability. You start to look at like maybe Flo on Progressive, who's just been that spokesman, or Jake from State Farm. I'm pretty sure they went into the business anticipating something else, but when you can be the spokesman of something, you no longer have to audition, and you can make $6 million from just that doesn't sound bad.
No, I would take 6 cents. 6 cents, and we're there, man.
So again, you do crave stability, but I think when you love something, right? Like when you love something, you're willing to go the distance for it, and it somehow or another just kind of brings you back, and it's like out of sight, out of mind for me. Like I'll audition, I delete the message, I delete it. I don't even remember the dates that I was supposed to shoot for, just because I don't even know that it happened. And so sometimes I've gotten, my agent has hey, are you available for this? And I'm like, okay, which one was this? Because I really, truly have put it out my mind, because it's on to the next one. Yeah. So.
Well, I think that's an interesting way to look at it, but a good way.
Yes.
It's healthy. It sounds healthy.
Yes, I try to.
Yeah. Well, let me end with this one, because it's in the same vein a little bit. For me, so I'm 40 years old now.
Okay. And Look good.
Well, we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying. The kids keep me somewhat young. But I'm 40 years old now, and I noticed, for me, there's been a lot of times in career where, I'm having to suddenly start over and try new things.
Okay.
It's an interesting place to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's been a lot of my life where I've spent thinking that at some point there's going to be like this magic door that opens.
Okay.
That's like, all right, you just work for this thing,
okay,
and the magic door opens, and then you'll finally make it. You'll get in there. That will be the door. You just have to work hard until that door opens.
Okay.
And then, of course, it doesn't always happen that way. I've been thinking that way for like 10 years, and at some point you reach a point where it's like, okay, that didn't happen that way.
Right.
And so you're having to deal with, all right, well, here I am. I'm this age. I'm in this career.
Okay.
I'm not, quote unquote, made it.
Okay.
There's not like a, when you came into my house, there's not like a bellhop downstairs trying to say, hey, check the keys. There's none of that stuff.
Okay.
So I'm curious, I have my own struggles that I go through to deal with how to move forward in life in a positive way.
Okay.
I'm curious for you, how do you keep things in the positive? How do you keep moving forward with acting and with, your life and your career?
Yeah.
How, what things do you do actively that are positive ways to stay in the positive?
And I know it's going to sound cliche, but it's faith. You have to kind of have faith within this business, because if you don't, seriously, your dream will challenge you, just like any quote unquote relationship, right?
Yeah.
It will bring you up, it'll bring you down, it'll say, hey, do you really love me? And also, what I'll do outside of my faith is I listen to documentaries. I like to hear how other people have started, or especially those that have been successful. I like to hear their journey, because a lot of times I'm right where they were as well too. And so it is like catching lightning in a bottle. Like, there's that one role that's for you, which is, it's sheer pandemic, or there's that one break for you, which was Breakers for me. I hadn't done any theatrical acting before Breakers. So I learned everything on the go.
Yeah.
And so
there's some high drama there too.
Correct. And so I do feel that everything has its set place and set time. And so I like to listen to a lot of people that are already successful, that, most of us don't pay attention to them until they become up here.
Yeah.
But my interest is in their story before we heard of them. Yeah. And a lot of them go through the same things that we go through. That's doubt. That's, oh man, The Rock, I've got, $7 in my account. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah. And so that somewhere or another keeps me a little motivated as well too. And just thinking, okay, we've all been there, and then lastly, I think I love it. Like, I really, truly love it. And I wish I was good at something else that I could control and sell, and I didn't have to depend on other people. But, I wasn't blessed with that. I was blessed with a talent to be able to act. And so I don't think that, God made any mistakes with that. And so I do think that my time is coming, and I like to believe that, which is why I try to tackle every audition or every opportunity with that same mindset.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can definitely relate to that, because I feel like regularly that my brain goes into, man, you could have done something else. Yeah. You could have been something.
Yeah.
And then instead, here you are still, tackling things that, you might not have the reward right there.
Correct.
Ready to see, and yet you keep getting up and you keep doing that thing.
So same question to you. How do you stay motivated? How do you keep it up?
Well, and for me, I would say faith. At the same time, I think that my faith has been dramatically, I won't say altered, because that sounds like it's switching gears. But challenged and maybe opened up. Maybe you learn, you don't learn through good times. You learn through hard. You learn through difficult. You sharpen when things are hot.
Correct.
And so for me, that's kind of a major area. And then also just, I have a family, and I have friends like you that I can talk to and say, hey, here's what's going on. And, they can be encouraging and tell you whether or not you're losing your mind or not. Yeah. And I think that's important.
Very much so.
For me, it's losing your mind is regular.
Because that's exactly what you feel like. Yeah. Like, right? Like, okay, what year is this? 2022? Yeah. I think all of last year I didn't get like a new job. Yeah. And I'm like, and I have 3 agents. Yeah.
So and like for me, it's like, so I started a new business and a new stuff, and that's only after a ridiculous amount of, and yesterday I was talking to a great friend, which I'm going to have on the podcast here before too long. And I was feeling bad because I had tried hundreds of resumes trying to open up jobs in different places, and like getting nothing. Right. Like I've never had an experience where you've put out that much stuff and then got nothing. Right. Back. It's not like somebody offered me something and I said no. It's like there was no offer ever. Right. And then meanwhile, my Facebook feed was filling up with people like, you need to get back to work, and you need to, you need to get out there, and all these lazy people. And I'm just like, oh, I want to just punch people in the teeth. But, with that being said, it's just kind of an interesting thing where it's like, all right, what's happening now? Yeah. Like your faith, you have to deal with stuff. And I think having family, having friends to help push you through that kind of stuff is essential. Yeah. Or even critical. Like if you don't have that, I don't really know what I would do.
Yeah. You've helped me out a lot. And I mean that out of all sincerity. Just being on different paths but going through the same struggles. Like sometimes when you're saying something, I'm like, oh bro, like man, I feel you. And and I think a lot of times that when you're going through something, especially if it's not good, you feel like it's only happening to you. Yeah. Right. But then when you hear someone else that is happening to, you're not rooting for that, but it helps. It helps to know, like, oh, okay, gosh, like, no, I'm not that odd, you know, and it's my hope that we'll look back on this and go, man, I remember feeling like that, you know, and then be able to help somebody else out that is maybe going through the same thing when we are no longer going through this. Yeah. So,
well, and it was fun. We did shoot a movie together.
Yes.
Sheer Pandemic.
Yes.
That was really fun. And it's funny because it kind of lingers on, because the same things that were happening in the film,
yes,
in essence, are still sort of happening now.
Right.
And, you know, it's funny because like our relationship has evolved since then. Correct. And through then, just like in the show.
Just so like in
it's kind of funny how the way that works out.
This is so perfect.
It is. It's pretty darn good.
Yes.
So, well, awesome. Well, Kris, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
We'll wrap it up here and we'll get going. But I'll definitely have you back as always.
All right, man. Thank you for having me.
We have so much history now.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, well, this has been the Chason Laing Podcast. You'll find all the relevant links from today's show in the show notes, including all of the stuff for Kris Clinton, his Instagram, which you must follow, and the Sheer Pandemic stuff, which you need to see as well. So please get on there and check that out. If you enjoyed the show, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to get access to our shows as soon as they drop. Also, please leave a comment and a 5-star review, because that would just be awesome, and I'm begging.
At this point.
Yes. Your reviews help us making these episodes, and it makes you a part of the show, which is always great too. Yeah. So that is all for this episode, folks. Go get after it.